Hey everyone, this is Shindigs from the Collegiate Starleague, and I'm here with Derek Staley, who is a journalist for ESFI. I'm going to talk to him about his background in esports and journalism. So first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a great event so far.
All right, cool. So can you just tell us about your educational background and how you kind of got involved with esports?
Sure. So I started off, I went to high school in a small school south of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Then I went to Penn State University and got a Bachelor of Science in Information Science Technology. So not really related to journalism or anything like that. I worked in Pittsburgh for a while, and now I work full time at a gaming just a gaming company in San Francisco, California.
All right, very cool. So ESFI is kind of getting really recognized right now for their awesome journalism work in the esports event. How do you get involved with ESFI specifically?
I did some writing for NASL Season 1 actually. That was my first ever really contribution to esports, and that was just I think Zaris actually posted on Reddit or something just saying, hey, we need writers. So I took it up, and then I wrote for NASL Season 1. Kind of decided that I'd rather do more on the matter of independent as opposed to working with tournaments. So I had met Ted Audi, who was one of the guys who's the editor for ESFI in MLG Columbus, and he gave me his card, and then I went and checked out the site, decided that independent journalism was something I'd like to get into, so I got in touch with those guys and gave them some of my writing samples that I'd done with NASL, and went from there.
All right, really cool. So how does working for ESFI differ from tournament writing?
It's a lot different because tournament writing, you have to, your job is to basically hype up the tournament because you're working for them. So I mean, obviously MLG has some different things where they they have shows like SC Report and things like that they're a little bit different where they're not necessarily just talking about MLG, but for NASL we were literally just talking about the games and previewing content and things like that. So it was more of I guess fluff pieces, whereas what we're doing is we're doing a lot of interviews. We're doing I interviewed Zaris and wrote a piece to preview sort of the Season 2 finals and talks about the criticisms and things like that. So it's a lot more in depth, I would say, than anything I did with NASL.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, your background and your education, you did information technology, and you kind of transferred to gaming, which kind of makes sense. But do you feel like what you learned in college kind of prepared you for this, or were you one of those people who just kind of did something completely unrelated?
Well, I mean, obviously gaming is related to technology. So I mean, I've always been using computers and technology and all that things like that. But I have no journalism background or any writing background, anything like that. I just basically one day saw that, and I decided I wanted to do something in the community, and I did it, and then that's how I got involved. So that was it. I mean, I have no real background in anything that I do as far as esports goes.
So what do you recommend, I mean, for people who are like, they're in college, they see esports as a growing industry and they want to get involved and they want to make content, but I think a lot of them would like to just jump in and do it, but a primary concern for a lot of them is, we have exams, I have a lot of extracurricular commitments, and I have just so many things going on. What do you recommend to those people who want to get involved?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is make sure your expectations are realistic. So there's very, very, very few people who have full-time jobs in esports. I mean, it's an extremely small amount. DJ Wheat, it took forever for him to get a new full-time job in esports after his previous ones. He was working a normal job. So I think first of all, you have to realize that I think going with the expectation that you're not going to get paid ever. Even if you do, at some point, you should go in with the expectation that what you're going to do is because you love doing what you're doing. And if you do with that, it makes things a lot easier. So it's really hard to get people to do things for free. So it's really hard just to get somebody to write, say, 1 column a week about StarCraft 2. So if you just start writing, say, an article a week about something in the StarCraft 2 scene that's going on that you're interested in, that's just a way to get involved right there. Whether you just post it on Reddit or post it on Team Liquid, or if you work with a site like ESFI, or there's CSN, or there's a ton of other SK Gaming does their stuff. There's Gosu News, tons of sites now that need people to generate content for them. So if you do something, somebody will notice it eventually.
All right, well, really awesome answer, first of all. Totally agree with all that. The other thing I want to ask about, a big topic right now in the StarCraft community is the need for an independent journalist company, and ESFI is definitely stepping up to the plate, and there are a lot of other news sites doing the same. How do you feel about kind of your role in the community with that? What are some of the problems you experience with that, like running into sponsorship issues if you have any? And what are the joys of kind of working for an independent company like that?
Well, right now we are sponsored by Creative, so but we don't have any. We can write about anything we want, so we have no real conflicts of interest or anything like that. So we haven't run any kind of, like you said, sponsorship problems. We haven't any of that. I think it's difficult just because gaming is so entrenched in communities. So Team Liquid for StarCraft has been the StarCraft community as far as outside of Korea for so long, because it was obviously all through Brood War, Team Liquid was the place to go. There were a few other places, but for the most part it was Team Liquid. And then you have Reddit and sites like that. So it's really hard to really break into that barrier. I think Kennegat was one that said, StarCraft is an old boys club. So right, and everybody, if you look at all the most popular shows that are out there, because really people obviously consume more video content now than they do written content. So if you look at a lot of the most popular things out there, you have things like State of the Game, you have Inside the Game, Live on 3, all those shows. It's really the same group of people who've been around for a long time. So it's hard to really break into that, and I think that's really the biggest barrier we have right now.
So, what are the plans for ESFI and yourself in 2012, and how do you, aim to kind of dissolve that kind of barrier in the upcoming years of esports?
Well, as far as ESFI goes, I'm obviously not, really in charge, so I can't really speak too much to that. But we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep showing up at live events, producing as much content as possible. We have some things we need to streamline as far as getting video out as fast as we can and things like that. And we're going to keep doing more and more written content. We're going to start doing more, try to do more consistent pieces, because I know we've kind of slacked off on doing editorials and things like that. So trying to get more and more journalistic kind of pieces out there and continue to do our video content as much as possible. I think we might be moving into the video as far as streaming things like that, shows. So we might see some of that. Not really concrete plans for that, but hopefully we'll be able to move into that 2012 and just keep on growing.
All right. So that was kind of posed as a final question. That wasn't a final question. So there you go. I just thought of a really interesting question right now on a comment you made earlier about Kennegat saying that esports is an old boys club. So when you do independent journalism like this, you want to get the hard-hitting stories. You want to, tell people, what it's really like at these events or behind the scenes. And with any industry, there may be some controversies behind the scenes. What if ESFI was, or yourself, because you can't speak for ESFI, but what if yourself was put into a position where you wrote about very controversial thing, that happened behind the scenes? What do you think would happen, kind of in the world of esports, once that happens, when an independent, an independent company like ESFI or journalist company like ESFI kind of starts getting shut out because they're going to start leaking, not really leaking, but they're going to start revealing these kind of things?
It is an issue. It's something we've talked about, and I think we're finally at a point where, at least I can talk how I feel about ESFI. I don't know if this is what it be, but we have enough people that we know now. Like obviously we have good relationships with a lot of the teams, a lot of the players, and just a lot of important people in the industry that I think is going to be very difficult for somebody if we release something that, first of all, is accurate, because you can't release things, and also we don't want to get involved in like the TMZ style journalism or anything like that. So I think as long as what you put out there is accurate and is verified, then I don't think it's really possible for you to be locked out entirely, just because especially the StarCraft community will backlash against people. So if we come out and say ESFI is banned from MLG, or just for an example, you know what I mean, then there would be some kind of backlash against that organization who kind of came out against somebody just because of something they said.
Yeah, and MLG is a good organization. So
oh yeah, I'm just using an example. So
yeah, of course. All right, so I mean that's all. So any last final shout outs you'd like to make?
Just ESFI, just check us out, esfiworld.com, and if you want to get involved in the community, all you really have to do is actually do something. Go write something, go produce video, just find a way to get involved.
All right, cool. Oh, shout out to your alma mater.
Yeah, Penn State.
Yeah. All right, very cool. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sounds good, Derek.